Hello everyone, hoo boy. So a few months ago I made a video about the Projared sexual misconduct accusation scandal, I guess that's what would be the name for it, as I understood it back then. Well, Projared recently released a video responding to the accusations. He made a very good defense for himself in a very professional tone. He said he consulted legal advisors among others before making this, and it shows. He presented evidence that pretty firmly refutes the most serious charges against him, and he casts other lesser accusations into serious doubt as well, while making some excellent points about internet outrage and gossip. The video got millions of views, and single-handedly reversed public opinion of Projared pretty much overnight. Probably not surprisingly, this has led to some backlash, including against my original video. It was pretty mild, all things considered, and a lot of that is probably because at the end of his video, Projared told people to be respectful and tolerant. So I wanted to make this video for basically two reasons. First is to correct the record about Projared for anyone who watched my first video and hasn't seen his, as well as anyone I might have discussed the incident with. All of what we thought was evidence that Jared had been soliciting minors was presented in a manipulative way. One of his accusers lied about their age, for example, and then cropped a screenshot of the conversation to take out the lie. As far as Jared apparently cheating on his wife, that was also more complicated than it appeared. Apparently they were in a polyamorous relationship, and Heidi gave Jared permission to get involved with Holly, which they both confirmed. Then she withdrew permission according to her, while he says he asked for a divorce and was threatened over it. He also says he has more evidence relating to the situation with his wife that he can't present yet because apparently there are some legal issues going on with that right now. There's quite a bit of other stuff too, and if you really want to see it all, I would recommend just watching his video. It's pretty easy to find, but I wanted to say it here too so that anyone who watched my previous video and otherwise doesn't have anything to do with Projared can know the truth. Someone in the comments on the old video said I should apologize, and I guess this video could be considered my apology. There's certainly some things I said or shared in that old video that I regret. I'm not going to do that thing where I, show my face on the camera and get all choked up and say, Projared, if you're watching this, man, I'm sorry. Obviously, I didn't call this video, Projared, I'm sorry, or anything like that. That feels a little performative and manipulative to me. I mean, especially since, let's be real here, with how small my channel and this video is and how much other content was made out there about the Projared event, it's very unlikely he will ever see this. So if I did that, I would feel like I was doing it for the audience, not for him. But yeah, definitely need to do my part to correct the record and make sure people know the truth about him. With that in mind, the second thing I wanted to do with this video was go over that original video on Projared that I made, my thought process behind it, why I made it, and what were my thoughts and beliefs about the whole Projared case as it unfolded. My goal here is not to make excuses or justify or to victim blame or anything like that, certainly. I just want to help with the understanding of this, both for myself and for anyone who might be watching, so that we can learn from this. Millions of people were involved in this, all across the political spectrum. I'm sure there were many people who thought and felt similar things to what I did. When I first learned about the unfolding Projared scandal, I was pretty indifferent to Projared. I'd watched some of his videos when he talked about a subject that interested me, but I didn't really consider myself a fan and I wasn't subscribed. So this popped up. I don't even remember where I first learned about it. A thread popped up on some forum and I was like, oh, what's this? What's going on? There was just an avalanche of stuff, including the messy triangle between Jared, Heidi, and Holly, and of course Jared's dick pics. And when I found out about that, I immediately thought, wait, didn't Projared make that weird April Fool's video where he talks about dicks? That lines up a little too perfectly. That was how the idea for the video began. My intent was not to virtue signal or to cancel Projared. In fact, I considered that basically a done deal regardless of anything I did. At that point, this had already spread to like millions of people, and there were real-time trackers of his subscriber count constantly falling. My goal was to use the situation for comedy, not outrage, much like a comedian might use scandals involving R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, or Louis C.K. But you're not funny like those guys. Fair enough. I wouldn't really claim to be as funny as those guys. Humor is subjective anyway. But that was my intention, to just tell everyone, hey, let's just stand back and laugh at this unfolding train wreck, maybe take a few lessons away from it about what not to do on the internet, and not really get angry or personally involved. I don't think that's an inherently bad thing by itself. I would argue that using humor to deal with messed up stuff is one of the healthier ways to process it, but humor can also be used to spread false information, which is what I did. Because from the beginning I was convinced that Jared was guilty of some of the things he was accused of, and I became convinced he was guilty of the more serious things he was accused of as well, as more stuff kept coming out. Someone on the comments section of Jared's video accused people who made videos like mine of chasing clout. Let's be honest here, there's a lot of truth to that. I think that's why a lot of videos on Projared were made. This is not a drama channel. In fact, the Projared video was the only real drama video on the channel. Clearly, I know how to pick 'em. The thing is, I knew the video would bring traffic to the channel. Despite this being far from the video I'm most proud of, even back before Projared's response, it quickly became the most viewed video on the channel. And those views brought new subscribers, new regular watchers. Not a ton, considering the channel's normal content isn't like this. But for the size of this channel, the number who stuck around to watch more was pretty decent. Heck, the traffic boom that came after Projared issued his statement also caused some channel growth, despite the reaction of most people to the video being negative now. And this video that I'm making right now will also probably get views and bring in subscribers. That's not why I'm making it. I'm making it out of a sense of obligation. I'm done growing the channel that way. It isn't worth it. But that's something we have to acknowledge here. Exploiting drama works. Clout chasing works. Controversy works. YouTube is set up in a way that promotes it, and a huge number of viewers seem to want to consume that type of content. It's been the fastest, surest possible way to grow an audience, besides getting a shout out from a bigger YouTube channel, which of course requires you to know someone or get lucky. In my case, I was a bit uncomfortable, exploiting other people's misery for clicks, guilty or not. But I justified indulging in it in this instance by telling myself that since everyone on the internet seemed to already be talking about this, one more video on it wouldn't make any difference. Not particularly admirable. It's possible this whole Projared mess will be the beginning of a decline for drama tubers, and we'll see YouTube drama gradually go the same way as angry reviewers, let's players, and abridged series. That would probably be a good thing, but we'll see what happens. In the old video, I put up a few tweets summarizing the accusations against Jared, that he had been cheating on his wife and soliciting nudes from minors. I didn't confirm that he had been sending nudes to minors, I just showed the tweet accusing him of it, but I didn't go out of my way to let people know it was unconfirmed either, which I should have done, because it could easily lead people to assume he's guilty. It wasn't until after I uploaded the video that I became convinced that the soliciting accusations were true, largely due to all the screenshots and released messages from one of the accusers, which as we now know, were altered. The tweets accusing him of cheating I basically said were true in the video. I thought that was a settled thing at the time, because we had Jared's tweet about the divorce, making it sound like a mutual, amicable thing, Heidi's angry tweet accusing him of cheating and blocking her, proving that his original tweet wasn't true and that the divorce was not a mutual thing. And Holly also confirmed that her and Jared had been in a relationship. With these three facts, I didn't even think there could be another interpretation. Obviously, I was wrong. As more information came out from Holly about the open relationship, there was some discussion of it in the comments section, and I actually was quite critical of Heidi for not giving the whole story. Jared's initial tweet, though, that was a key part of how this all unfolded. As soon as Heidi responded to it, Jared was cast as dishonest in most people's minds. So he was in a very bad spot when this avalanche of other accusations started. People were already inclined to not believe him. That may have been why he went almost completely radio silent after that for 3 months, not even telling people he was preparing a response. He probably felt like nobody would listen to him and people would just jump down his throat, which was probably true for a lot of people, although him not giving any response certainly allowed his accusers to dominate the discussion even more, and many people took it to be a sign of guilt. When he finally did reply, though, he did it right and it worked, so I can't really say he dealt with that the wrong way. Those are the big things I shared in the video that turned out to be untrue. Now we need to talk about feminism. Why? Well, I briefly mocked Jared for his feminism in the video. It's a very small part of it, but several people did leave comments also mentioning feminism in a negative light, and now at least one commenter is on a one-man crusade over it. Beyond that, feminism played a big role in this fiasco in multiple ways, so it's definitely worth addressing. First of all, let me make it clear. I did not believe Jared was guilty of anything he was accused of because he's a feminist. I believed he was guilty for the reasons I've already discussed. I thought there was good evidence proving it. I was certainly not the only one who felt that way.
There's evidence here, guys.
Oh my God, I don't even. Somebody had a thing on Twitter with the unsee juice. Like, yeah, basically, not only was he cheating on his wife, but he has been soliciting lewd pictures from minors. There's proof of this.
He knows they're minors.
He knows they're minors. He's still, this dude's like, could potentially be looking at jail time.
Yeah, there's receipts on this, so he did
There's
do
absolutely receipts. This isn't speculation.
That evidence, of course, on closer examination, turned out to be not so good. Now, people mock feminists who are accused of sexual misconduct for very similar reasons to why people mock anti-gay pastors who get caught hiring gay prostitutes with collection plate money. It's a combination of the hypocrisy and a dislike of the ideology. Feminists' tendency to police, condemn, and scold over things other people consider inconsequential or even good hasn't exactly made them the most popular group on the internet. But there's a much bigger issue that comes into play here, and that's how feminists themselves tend to treat sexual assault, harassment, and rape accusations. If you've paid any attention to high-profile accusations over the last few years, you're probably familiar with rhetoric centering around the phrases listen and believe women, and believe victims, which are emotionally manipulative, backhanded ways of saying assume guilt. What are you believing, after all, if not the accusations made against a specific person? And this was done in Jared's case as much as in any other. That is the exact language his accusers used. And it worked. Feminists were at least as eager to throw Jared under the bus as anyone else. And on the other side, a lot of people with a negative view of feminism considered this a case of karma, or getting hoisted by his own petard. The assumption being that Jared, as a feminist, would be one of the first to say, believe victims, and condemn another man if he was accused. So it was seen as fair to treat him the same way. But this is a broad generalization, and feminists are a pretty diverse group. You've got your trans-positive feminists, and you've got your TERFs, and they have complete opposite opinions about a lot of things. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to judge Jared for things other people who are self-identified feminists have said. Regardless, this is another reason public opinion was so heavily against Jared. He was catching it from both sides over feminism and the feminist cultural attitude about sexual misconduct accusations. Heck, there are still people, popular YouTubers, who are criticizing Jared for his response, saying that he was somehow too harsh in defending himself, which I really disagree with. He showed remarkable restraint towards the people who accused him, if anything. That's pretty much all I have to say right now about my old Projared video, and why I think things in the whole drama kind of unfolded the way they did. Now there's just a question of what to do with the old video. I'm going to leave that question to the audience. Should I take it down? I do think there's a certain value in leaving it up to remember this and how it all unfolded. Maybe I should just unlist it, that's kind of like a halfway point. Or maybe I should just leave it alone. Tell me what you think I should do with it in the comments section, and whatever the general consensus is, that's what I'll do. I do think something positive may come to online culture from all of this. I don't think people are going to stop talking about the personal business of e-celebs or real celebrities. I don't think that's a very realistic expectation. But a lot more people will hopefully react to accusations and outrageous stories about famous or semi-famous people by saying, hold on, remember the Projared situation, and be more cautious and reserving in their judgment. I know I certainly will be a lot more cautious and reserving in judgment going forward. Alright, that pretty much sums it up. If you're thinking of following the channel based on this, I would really recommend checking out another video or two first. This isn't really representative of most of the channel's content. Have a great day, everyone.